Run with Chestnut.
Welcome to the Run with Chestnut podcast. This is episode number 21, where we're talking all about the world of Anita. If you don't know what that means, it's totally fine. Lily's about to explain it to you. Anyway, today I am joined... What? Oh, wow. Way to steamroll my thing. Anyway, today I'm joined by the usual buddy, Mr. Simon. Hello, Simon.
Hello.
And two guests that have been on previously on our Twilight discussion, but are returning for their spectacular return. What's a debut? Review? Zulay and Lily. What's up, guys? I don't know. But as the English major, Lily, I feel like you can tell me. Lily.
I'm sorry, what? You're just saying so many words.
Hey, there's a lot of words. There's a lot of words. Lily, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well.
Yeah, okay, see, that's a simpler question.
Lily, is review a word?
Review. Oh, okay, that's where you lost me. My brain just kind of broke when you were talking about, and I was just like, nope, I'm just going to exit out of this. No, it's not a word.
So, what's a secondary debut?
Or just a returning guest.
Okay, returning guest. Woo! Cue applause. Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, it's not for me. Anyway, so Lily, care to tell the listeners what is Anita?
Anita doesn't know what Anita is.
Thank you.
But Anita Blake is a vampire hunter, or I guess she still technically is one. She had her debut in 1993 in Guilty Pleasures, and 27 books later, she is still here. That is not counting the novellas.
27 novels, not counting novellas. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
There are 5 novellas?
Yeah. So 32 books.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
a lot
lot.
of books.
We've read every, well,
It is.
I've read almost every single
I've
one.
read them all.
Yeah. We're about to hate on this series, but we all love it deep down.
Yeah, we do.
No, I just can't resist going back to it because I've already put this much time and attention into it.
Yeah, I do not love it. I quit the series a very long time ago, and I'm just here.
But okay, you
quit the series.
Yes,
you
yes.
quit but when it was still good though.
When did you quit?
I quit.
8 or 9, right?
I love that you gave me that much credit. I quit at the beginning of 7.
Oh, 8 or 9 is when it starts going. No, 10 is when it really, because that's Narcissus in Chains. That's when it really goes down.
That's
so,
just
when's Obsidian Butterfly?
9.
9. Yeah.
That was the last amazing book.
Well, 8 was something about a moon.
Blue Moon.
Something about a moon.
For the Run with Chestnut listeners, Book 10, Narcissus in Chains, there are literally people in chains, and this is when the orgies begin.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So can you articulate why does the series go downhill after book 10? Downhill, and obviously that's not objectivity.
It's certainly subjectivity.
Some would argue.
However, it's an opinion held by many.
It is a well-informed subjective opinion.
Many of the book's former fans or continued fans or new fans or just most of the people who start reading the books and get to book 10.
Many?
Many. So our lovely Anita begins, is she 21 or 24 when the books start? You're reading
Guilty, right? I feel like 24.
Okay.
I feel like I would have remembered if it was as young as 21.
Okay.
Which is crazy to think because that's younger than we are now, or at least I am.
No, that's how old I am.
That's how old I am.
Can you think about it? Think what happens in the first book.
Your birthday hasn't happened yet.
But think everything she goes through in the first book. That's your age, really.
It's quite a lot. Hello.
That's your age.
And now she's 32, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
She aged.
How kind of aging is that? The series has been going on for about 30 years.
Crazy aging.
She's only
when did you say 1993?
93, yeah,
that is 27
right?
years, and she's only aged 8. That's 3 years?
It's like dog years.
It's weird that but here's what's weird.
No, it's Lorianthrope years.
Here's what's weird though. She's aged 8 years, but the technology has somehow.
Oh, it's skyrocketed. It is
yeah.
soared because we went from 93 to 2020.
Okay,
like-
can we? 93 people were still walking around with the big old phones. If they had them, beepers. Oh, I'm sorry.
She has a
pagers.
beeper. She has a pager. Yes.
Yeah.
And now sis is walking around with an iPhone X Max Plus whatever. Like, relax.
Sending emojis.
Yeah.
They're all her booze.
Emoji. Oh God.
Her
All
living
right.
sweeties. Okay, wait. Okay, let's backtrack. So in Guilty Pleasures, she is 24. And actually, give me 1 second. I just want to close the door. Our tenant is a woman of the church, and I feel uncomfortable. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll pick up until you, Lily, you're back. So she's 24 in Guilty Pleasures, which is book 1. She was almost
That's actually
married.
who I said hello to before, and I was just like,
Oh,
now we
yeah,
are
yeah.
going to begin talking about
Now
the
we're-
orgies.
Yes, yeah. But she's very, very original in the first book.
She is,
Yeah.
and she hates vampires.
It's more than virginality. She's prudish.
Yes.
Yes, that's definitely a good word. So she is a prude
Yeah.
who raises the dead. She's a necromancer. She also,
Or no, not yet. Right? She's an animator.
she
Animator,
was an
She doesn't
animator.
yeah.
realize she's a necromancer. And
She's a
her
necromancer in the
exact
second
quote
book.
from her is, "I'm a vampire killer. No, vampire slayer. I don't date
Hunter.
them. Hunter. I don't date them."
Yeah, and we
That was
have
her
this
quote.
vampire who's trying to seduce her, and she was like,
Hey, Lily, what's his name?
"You just want me to do the accent."
What's his name?
His name is Jean-Claude.
Continue.
Would you prefer I said John Claude?
Yeah.
Like, could that be better?
What if you said Jean Cloud?
Oh,
God.
or just JP.
Oh, but then you would
Or
be
JC.
far less sexy. Ma petite would not hold the same, how do you say, appeal?
God.
And je ne sais quoi.
Mm.
I guess we do know quoi.
We do. It's Anita.
Yeah.
So yes, because she's small in stature, that's something that's important. She's 5'3", so she's actually the average height of the American woman. But she likes to emphasize how tiny she is, how minuscule, how petite,
Oh,
even though her
every
breasts
single
are
book.
abnormally
Yes.
huge,
Every
Like,
single book.
disproportionately large.
This
I
bitch is
think
definitely
she's a
not
triple E.
proportionate. She is not proportionally built. Can you? Okay. Listen. Okay. All right. This is more information than y'all want. But like, I'm 5'6", right? And I'm a nice, respectable double D, right? Proportionate.
If you say so.
I,
Why are you asking me?
I don't know what part that is. Listen, but a triple E on a 5'3" frame, that is a lot. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I'm sure it
there are
does.
people, 30F is a size that if you size it all the way up, it would be like 38, like C or something.
But was she like a 30 triple E or was she out here with a 34 triple E, which is very different?
I don't remember. I don't want to take the time to search through all of the books. Oh, let me Google it.
Here,
Okay.
I'll Google. You talk. I'll Google.
Cool. That's your task, Azu.
Okay.
You verify the information. But
Anyway.
So this
Every-
virginal woman,
Yeah.
or prudish woman rather, who thinks that she's hideous, even though she's got dark hair, dark eyes from her Mexican mother, and pale, super pale. Have I mentioned how pale? Skin from her German father. But she resembles her mother in everything except the paleness. Have I said that yet? Of her skin. And she's got like long hair and it's like, got this like crazy curl to it. Cause from her Mexican mother, have I mentioned that yet? And
So they only told me that she's a triple E. They didn't give me like a back size, but apparently we just walk around with cups. We don't have something to support the back.
well, that's honestly all that really matters for you to get the image. You just know that she has just like balloons for bosoms.
Which get in the
but-
way of her gun draw.
But just
I
right
always
as
wondered about that because, and so she always emphasizes about folding her arms beneath her breasts, right? So
Yes.
this is something I can relate to. My boobs are definitely not small, and
I
it's
feel
not.
excluded now.
Oh,
Like, you guys
Chesko,
talk about
Chesko.
it,
What an
it's like,
understatement.
No, I can't talk about. I can't relate. So
Jessica, you mind getting closer to the mic?
I am close, Simon.
Oh, your audio
Chuckles,
seems
you can be
lower
like
than.
have a training bra, you know, like.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
You too, Simon.
Okay.
You want one?
No.
Simon, why don't you want to be part of the club? Wait, I'm trying to fold my arms beneath my boobs.
You would then just kind of be cupping them, like holding them.
Yeah, I think I like it over my boobs better.
So it's got to be at least 6, 7, 8 of her books that they all start out with like confrontations with the soon-to-be enemy, and in all those confrontations, she describes folding her arms, like and staring
Beneath
them
her
down
breasts.
beneath.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
it's a very
And,
it's a
you know,
theme.
She's very diminutive, so people are always in like underestimating her. Men
Yeah,
are always
she's
trying
very
to
petite.
intimidate her with their bulk and their height, and she's
To
got
be
like
fair,
long
she
hair.
has a friend who's like 6'8". I mean, that's like a big difference. Even
You
if
mean
you
Dolph?
were 5'10". Yes, Dolph. I thought it was Rolf, but
I
Dolph.
miss
Yeah.
Dolph, and
Oh, they had a falling out, didn't they?
yeah,
Well, they kind of made up.
but it's never
kind
been the
of,
same.
but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex
What's the
Zabrowski.
really? I was just gonna say the slob with the pizza in the car.
I
and the-
like
I
him.
love Zabrowski.
Zabrowski!
He is disgusting, but I
Yeah.
love
His
Zabrowski.
wife's
Okay,
name
guys.
Katie or Karen?
Katie.
Katie, and he had
Katie
the
had a baby,
choo-choos.
so I guess
Guess
Tom
Tom
straight.
straight.
Oh, my God.
Bowling
Wow, guys.
Pursuit.
Thank you, Simon.
Bowling Pursuit.
You're always
Yep.
looking out musically. Francesco's a fake musician. Thank you, Simon.
All right, carry on. The gun.
Carry on.
Okay.
Draw,
I feel
no,
like
drawer,
we still
drawer.
need to like backtrack some. Okay, so back to like guilty pleasures though. So she works with the police part-time, helping them solve cases. She stakes vampires in the morgue. This eventually becomes a conflict, but generally like she stakes the bad little vampires and she thinks vampires are evil. Jean-Claude is trying to get with her. She's like, I don't want any parts of that. You're a vampire, you're a bloodsucker. Mind fuck is something that's typically used, a phrase that's typically used. So that just means, controlling your mind and just making you do whatever, generally sexual, because vampires are just, sexual, disgusting deviants. But also like letting them drain you and all this good stuff, and this is why she hates bloodsuckers. Obviously, because there would be no real conflict, she does eventually start to fall for the vampire. She does end up in this sort of threesome with the vampire. Not literally, although that does come later. They do as well. She does end up in a threesome or a love triangle with Jean-Claude and this guy named Richard, who...
Oh yeah, that comes later. Books though. Yeah.
You
Book
learn... All right, Chuckles.
Listen, I know my stuff. No,
but he is like the perfect guy for her. He also wants no parts of the supernatural, and she can continue just sort of like raising zombies for questioning and like staking, doing these relatively easy kills on vampires on the side. She has a best friend, Edward, who's like her mentor.
I love Edward.
And he
wow.
Not
you,
enough.
Simon.
Anyway.
But yes, so he is basically the one who kind of picks her up. Like, so she is always like, whenever she gets injured and stuff like that, she lives a pretty lonely existence because she pushes everyone away. Like, even in the first few books, like if a man even like holds the door for her, she's like, I am woman, I can hold door for self. And I don't disagree.
She has Sigmund.
She does have Sigmund, her penguin.
Oh yeah.
But by book
Penguin.
27, she has so many men because she's polyamorous that, Sigmund is probably just like in the closet somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
after the blood that has been washed out of this poor penguin, and she doesn't even respect him anymore.
That's true.
But so we watch Anita's change from this, prudish, like mostly human with the ability to raise zombies character who, comes home to her stuffed penguin at night.
So we
Wait.
should also point out one other aspect in book 1 where Jean-Claude, in his bid to gain power in the city, started making her his human servant, which in this series generally means giving the human more power. So it's like it's actually giving her like more longer life and harder to hurt her and different things. So it's not like he's making her a servant in the traditional sense. It's actually like giving her more power, but like she completely fights against it
Yes.
And
even though she starts to become a little bit faster, but the marks can't be taken away. And
what is it? Is there another term for it?
Human servant?
Or it's just human servant?
I think it's just human servant.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, Lily, I found the perfect word. She's puritanical. That is what she is.
She is. That is a good word.
That's a good word.
We know that she's like very religious, but she was excommunicated from the Catholic Church because animators are the devil. But she's Episcopalian, which is as close as she can get to Catholicism on the Protestant side. And now we get back to her heritage.
I listened to an interview with the author Laurell K. Hamilton, who we will talk about more later. But Laurell K. Hamilton apparently is also Episcopalian, or used to be. And her phrase was just like her phrase was, it's like Catholicism with double the freedom and like half the guilt or something like that. She said
that's deep.
Yeah, that's deep, right?
Wow.
This is how you know I'm a bad Catholic, because I have no concept of the Catholic guilt that everybody goes on and on about.
Oh yeah, no, you're a trash Catholic, man.
Hey, I know my Hail Marys.
In Spanish, not Latin.
No, I know them in English too.
Not Latin.
I know the beginning in Latin.
Do you know it in Greek or Aramaic? You're
Why
a bad
the hell
Catholic.
would I know it in Greek or Aramaic? They don't even speak that. I bet you the Pope doesn't know it in Greek or Aramaic.
Nah, I'm sure he doesn't.
And I also said Catholic, not Orthodox. Leave me alone. Stop taking my little bit of religiosity away.
Why? You never let me have fun no more.
So Lily, continue.
Where did I leave off?
We painted her as in book 1.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And so again, as we keep going, she does develop this relationship with Richard as she continues to fight against Jean-Claude. Richard is very much her ally in this fight because he's like, monsters, rawr.
He also has a huge fight. So she first meets him and doesn't know he's a werewolf. Spoiler alert, he's a werewolf. But he is almost like he fights against his inner wolf, basically. So he's completely against it, which is why even after she finds out that she is like more into him than she is Jean-Claude, I guess, because Jean-Claude fully embraces his inner monster.
Whereas Richard is like, this is sort of something that afflicts me rather than something that I embrace. And so, we just continue and we see Anita evolve. Sometimes she kind of falls into Jean-Claude and then she gets really upset with herself and she pulls back. She starts getting into more and more like crazy cases, like her powers as a animator start developing more. She starts realizing she has more power over the dead, in part because she starts trying things out more. Like, what can I do to a vampire? What can I do to whatever? But also, this mark from Jean-Claude also gives her this ability as well. Her powers are growing, her natural given powers are growing, in addition to gaining things from him, like, again, this speed, extra strength and all this stuff like that. And all this time, she's still a diminutive woman. This is important because...
Hey, she's pale.
And she's pale because the, officers around her are just like, oh, but you're this itty bitty thing. Like, what can you do? And okay, so I have women who are 5'3" in my life. And they are they're pretty petite, like in body structure as well, not only in height. But the way she talks about how tiny she is, I always want to believe she's like 5 feet or less. But yes, so she goes through all of these things. She's also a woman who hates being a woman. Like, she's one of the guys, Like, she talks in this book that we are supposed to mainly be focusing on Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just
She
Anita
really
all
needs
the
to
way.
go to therapy for her misogyny, because it is crazy.
She goes to therapy for everything else, but anyway.
So fast forward. Let's say like Anita version book 11. Like, what happened?
She is no longer.
How does she change? Yeah. How does she
she
change?
wasn't a virgin before. So, side note. So she had a fiance in college who we hear about for the first about 18 or 19 books. Even with her getting more and more men, because she has this very intense insecurity. After her mom passed away when she was 8, I remember this very distinctly because she reminded us for about the first 10 books. And I'm not disagreeing with that because, this is a trauma. She's afraid of cars and stuff like that, because her mom died in an accident. But sometimes I felt like it wasn't portrayed always realistically. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, is she fine in a car now? And now she's not. Like I feel like there are one or two inconsistencies, but for the most part it was fine. Anyway, so father's German, and he went back to his German ancestry, with his Nordic wife, and they had these beautiful blonde hair, blue-eyed kids, and Grandma Blake made her feel like a pariah because she's small, she's dark, in hair and eyes only. Please do remember that she is still pale, as she likes to remind us. So by book 11, she has grown a lot in power. Her eyes so with the vampires, whenever they're using their power, their eyes sort of like glow, and her eyes become cognac diamonds. So they are brown, and it looks like they've got this like inner light or whatever. I don't remember the exact description anymore. And she can sometimes sort of like develop or acquire powers from other vampires, and she's just getting more and more powerful. She's a great asset to Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude, however, whose power relies a lot on sex, which is crazy, right, for this prudish woman, she's developing a lot of his powers as well. Like she has the ardeur, which allows her to feed on sex, and she's very uncomfortable with this, and she ends up with a lot of men in her bed because she doesn't know how to control this power, and that just means she pulls away from Jean-Claude even more. Because she's like, you're doing this to me, evil vampire, bad vampire, oh, but so sexy vampire, oh no, so sexy. And
there's a lot of pent up emotion about this series, if people haven't realized by now.
A lot. I think she's so annoying. Like all of this is just reminding me why I stopped reading it, and I'm very glad that I did, because she had a lot of angst in her life.
Lot of issues. And she's one of those heroines who's not like other girls, in part because she doesn't want to be like other girls, because actually, hold on, there's a quote that I made sure to note down.
Ooh, back with the quotes. I like this.
Lily she got you with the quotes this time, because I don't have the books and I refuse to download them.
You should. It's great.
No, girl. So good on that.
So she's interviewing a stripper for the case that she's on, and the woman
is this the current book or is this
the current book? Oh, okay. I think I remember this book.
But you both did finish it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Continue.
So she has got so she's interviewing the stripper on the case, and she's like noticing that the stripper isn't like flirting with her like the other one had, and she's like, oh, I guess she's not into women. Oh, so Anita was hardcore heterosexual, even as she was like getting into like more and more men and sort of dealing with that. And then somewhere along the lines was it Jade?
Yeah,
Jade, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Belle turn her? Or no, sorry, that sounds terrible. But
Belle randomly appeared. Belle is Jean-Claude's like master, and she's like all sexy, and oh my god, she really is a vampire.
She's who's the woman? The succubus? Incubus?
She's the succubus, yes.
Succubus.
But I mean, like in terms of how people refer, to vampish woman, so she really is a vampire.
Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is
So
this the quote in the house with the two babies?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So let me go back to that before we get into Belmore. But so she's outside, and the stripper is not really flirting with her, and she said she played it like the college-age woman she appeared to be. Newman, who's the cop that she's or the marshal rather,
I like Newman.
that she's investigating with. Newman was a cute guy, and now he's something to be ignored, like an obstacle to his attention, or maybe less. Welcome to Girl World, where there are no friends, and all that matters is who are. All right, let me start this again. I'm laying in a very uncomfortable position. Okay. Welcome to Girl World, where there are no friends, and all that matters is who's more attractive and who gets the man. I was glad for the umpteenth millionth time that I hadn't been indoctrinated into typical girl culture. Like this is
Sis,
just kind of what
stop
she
worrying
views.
about dick and go get some female friends. Go get some therapy because this hatred of women is fucking ridiculous. You're too old to be acting like a fake pick-me.
She has female friends, but you know, like the ones like Catherine who got married and she was like a lawyer or whatever.
Oh, and then
she
Bronny
forced Anita to wear like pink at a wedding. Oh my
Oh,
god,
I remember that.
monster.
There was
First of all,
so
bitch,
many.
It's my wedding. You finna wear what I'm gonna tell you to wear because, like, okay, now there are brides who are ridiculous and like make their bridesmaids wear ugly dresses because it makes them feel better. I'm not gonna deny that. But if it's my wedding and I have a look and my colors are like coral and teal, you're not gonna be like, no, girl, I don't like coral. Let me pull up with this like purple dress. Excuse me? You could be a guest, but you're not about to be my bridesmaid.
Women only wear pink. And in the last book, I didn't remember this, but I was watching a YouTube video of someone talking about it. And she has the little girl, Becca, just dancing around singing pink, 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 pink. Like, what?
Who does that? I have a 4-year-old niece and she doesn't do that. Okay.
You're right, Zulay, because she speaks Spanish. She'd be rosada, rosada, rosada. Oh, wait. Okay. On that note, there was one thing in this book that was kind of hilarious.
What?
So they're referring to the lawyer as like, you know, so badass. And they're like, oh, she's a regular Don Quixote. And Anita's like, actually, it'd be Doña Quixote. And I don't know why I thought that was so hilarious.
Wow.
Come through with the accuracy, sis. About the only thing she's good for.
Oh man, so I feel like her teen. So I'm gonna rewind for a second. I feel like the teen number books.
And let me find a better position.
So like, yes. So like 11 through 19 or 18 or something. I feel like that's her version of puberty, where she like discovers her sexuality and then just has right. Like that's her teen year. Oh, yeah, connections. But so like, okay, so like 1 through 10, she's cool. She's building up her power, but still doesn't go off the deep end. 11 through 18 or something, she starts having sex with every single, like, you know, what's the problem? Someone's not cooperating on this case. Have sex with them. Like, you know, something's like going wrong here. What should we do? Have sex with them. So
let me tell you how I was introduced to Anita.
Okay.
So I had a boyfriend at the time, and he loves Anita. He was deep into Anita, and Hitler.
So were a lot of other men.
So were girl. They should.
Sorry, that was inappropriate. Carry on.
So it was Hitler's had just come out, and so my boyfriend was also blind. Is also blind. He didn't stop being blind. My ex-boyfriend, this man that I was with, is also blind. And he wanted to read it, but like the books weren't out yet on like wherever the hell he got them from. I don't know, like audio description or wherever the hell he got them from.
Audible?
No, I don't think it was Audible. At
Bard,
the time.
probably.
This was years ago.
Bard wasn't around yet, I don't think. But it might have been just from the library.
This was like 2011 or 2012. So I guess it could have been Audible, but
it also like the library did have it. Like the talking book, the Andrew High School did have it. So they might not have had the tapes yet.
Right. It might have been that.
The librarian checking out that book.
Oh, listen.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
Lily. So I went on Bookshare, which is like this website where you can you get Braille books and stuff, and I looked it up and I found it and I was like, oh, I'll read it to you because I'm a Virgo and apparently we do stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, so I read this book to this man, and this is book 20. First time I ever heard of this book. These people never heard of anything before. Just dropped me right into the middle of some craziness. Don't even know what's going on. And all with the I remember some parts, but what is most vivid to me was that she met this weird lion, tiger, leopard, something. Ethan or Ian, I forget his name all the time. Ethan. And they were in Vegas, and she's having sex with this man who transforms midway through or somehow, but he's like in half human, half
so there's a lot of bordering on bestiality scenes in here.
Yeah, and there was like all this lycanthropy juice, like whatever this rare juice, just all over.
So when she has sex, there are a lot of fluids that go around, not just the ones that you normally expect. What they did when
lycanthropes or shapeshifters change, they end up spewing forth a whole bunch of clear goo from their bodies.
Yes, I don't know why this occurs, but it does.
Maybe it's like
WD-40,
metaphysical
like
blood.
grease in the hinges.
Oh, I think she said something about metaphysical. What about hinges, Francesco?
Listen, when you have a door, right, and it doesn't have a lot of grease in the hinges, it squeaks. So,
WD-40. I love WD-40.
Exactly.
Why are you like this, Chuckles? Anyways.
But yes, this is what I vaguely remember. Her having sex with this half man, half animal, and there being like a lot of clear goo. And I was just like, what is going on? And I'll be right back because my aunt is calling me.
Yes. So Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Teen years, which is at the end of that is when Zulay got introduced.
Yes.
She was exploring her inner sexuality.
She was, and I feel like she was settled by that point, but still unsettled at the same time because there were more people still kind of being added to the group as how her power base grew. She could both feed on sex, but she could also feed on anger, and she was always constantly learning how to control it. There's one instance where she's kidnapped, and the only way she knows how to get out of it is through using her power, and so she sort of
mind funks this person.
Yeah. Basically, and he becomes her bride. If anyone's familiar with Dracula, it's like a reference to Dracula has these sort of three women who just kind of don't really serve a purpose, but they're just there. These like beautiful women, and so now they refer to like sort of a vampire that's sort of at your beck and call as your bride. So they started calling them Anita's brides, but she doesn't think that has quite as much of a ring to it. And yeah, so she just has.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who's Anita's bride?
Nikki.
Anita has.
So she completely kind of controls. They kidnap her, and the only way she knows how to get out of it is sort of to get him sexually hooked on her,
Him who?
And Nikki. He's a werelion.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And who has only one eye. I was like, okay, cool. Lack of depth perception. I appreciate the nod to some visual things.
She's 50% there to casting a visually impaired person.
Yeah, right?
I really don't want her to cast a fully blind person.
Oh, really? Why?
Oh, that would be a shit show. I might have to read that book.
I'm sure he'd either that person would die like a very painful death involving a cane or something. I don't know. It'd be
impaled by cane.
Yeah, impaled by cane or something, or walked into a spike or something. I don't know.
Oh. Or he's gonna have a weird kink, like he's gonna like using his cane as a part of his sex. But
oh my God.
Cane, his mobility cane.
Yes. That's how he's gonna feel her. He's going to trace her nipples with his cane.
That's so bad. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Anytime.
So anyway, okay. As the books go on, I feel like she gets more comfortable with herself. There's slightly less sex. There still is a lot of that.
There's less of her talking about how ugly she is, and her men is like, no, baby, but you're beautiful, though, because, we're with you, so you're beautiful. Right. And she's like, but you guys are all so handsome. How could I be so beautiful? And they're like, listen, I don't know, but we're telling you you're beautiful, so I don't know what else you want to know.
Exactly. All the way up until...
If a book is 300 pages, there's 200 of that.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
All the way up until...
One of the novellas is dedicated. It's called Beauty. And she and two of the other men, I don't remember which ones, are just sitting in a restaurant discussing her childhood and how she was made to feel ugly. And I don't want to discredit any of that. But ma'am, there's so much.
Okay, let's just say...
shotgun and shoot me.
I think she's probably... The author herself is probably using this... Oh, she said it herself, I think, that she's using this book as a therapy tool.
Well, she definitely explores. Woo! She definitely explores a lot of things. So Richard, the wolf who hated himself. A lot of people say, and I haven't read this myself, but that he represented her ex-husband, which is why he was kind of like a white knight initially, and very much on Anita's side. And then he just became this dick, and he. His name's Richard.
Rick the Dick. Wow.
Anyway.
But so that takes us all the way up to this most recent book.
Wait, before we do,
before we do that,
her.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, go on.
We
Go
had two
on.
segues. Well, I was just gonna say, so her descent into polyamory reflects Anita's, and a lot of times she has a lot of characters who are very much against Anita, and they're like, you're the whore of Babylon," and Anita's like, "Here, let me tell you all the ways that polyamory is such a good thing," and blah blah blah, and they're like, "Whore, and you're sleeping with vampires," and she's like, "Well, actually, this is politically incorrect, because I am 1/5 Mexican. Well, I guess she's half Mexican because of her mom."
Yeah, don't discount her brownness.
But she does because she's so pale.
But she has
Anyway.
dark features.
Simon,
I'm sorry, are there not white people with like dark hair and dark eyes? Not all white people are blonde and blue-eyed. That's just
What?
I'm
Francesco,
sorry, I know I blew
I'm
your mind,
confused.
Francesco.
you and Simon are a source of confusion now.
Why?
No, us as dark hair, dark eyed.
Well, to be fair, Francesco's Italian and he has a Japanese going on, so you
He
know.
has a Japanese, just one.
I mean, it is
Simon's
half, so it is
Russian.
just one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Simon,
Russian.
you're Russian. Why aren't you a blonde Russian? I mean, Simon, I'm just
I
gonna
don't
shut up
know.
now. I'm sorry.
Aw, Simon.
Oh God.
You were going to say something else, though, Simon?
Since Zulay gave an introduction of how she got introduced, do y'all want to go do the same?
Oh, man.
I don't even remember.
I do.
I think Lily got me introduced.
No, it wasn't Lily. I remember
then tell me,
that.
how did I get introduced?
No, I
Simon,
don't
you
know.
tell
I
me.
just
Tell us
know.
his story.
yeah.
No,
Tell me
I
my
don't.
story.
I don't know how you got introduced. I just know that you guys were talking about. We were on the phone. You guys were talking about a list of books you guys liked, and I think Lily mentioned Anita, and then Francesco, you said you read it, and you guys bonded over that
So how do you know Lily didn't introduce it to me?
because it sounded like it was the first time you guys were like,
And this was
Me-
like 10 years ago.
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no
I have
way.
a totally random,
Yes.
totally very random. Do I want chicken nuggets and fries or do I want shrimp tempura rolls?
Shrimp
tempura
tempura.
rolls.
Shrimp tempura rolls.
All right. Look at that.
Unanimous.
Yes.
Unanimous decision.
Unanimity.
Anyway, Lily, you can.
Simon, I think you should go first. Did I tell you about it?
A while ago, I don't. Yeah.
No. I mean, like, was I the one who introduced you to Anita?
I don't. I think. Yeah, it was
All
both
right.
of
I
you.
guess I do have to
think.
go first then. Okay.
Yeah.
Full schools in 7
In
years
2009,
Oh.
this was before September, so I was still 12.
Oh.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it was in June of 2009.
Oh.
I remember getting into this author, Melissa de la Cruz, and I had called the Braille and Talking Book Library, the Andrew High School Library, and asked them to send me more books by this author. And the lady, I remember her name was Anna. I'm sorry, Anna.
Oh, I did
This
not
lady,
like her. Anyway, go
thank
on.
you, Simon. I appreciate the validation. So she was telling me all of these titles, and I'm like, "Ma'am, I don't care about just send me the book." She's like, "Oh, there's this book and that book," and I was like, "Just send me all of them." Like, I told you, I just want to read more by this author, so send me them all. And she's still telling me the titles, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, that one." And then she proceeds to yell at me. "You can't read that title. That title is like a whatever. Like, you have to be at least 13. There's adult content." But and I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know." And so I was with my friend Mia and her mom at the time. And Mia was with me. And when her mom came back from like walking the dogs, she was like, "You know what happened? Because we were talking about it." And she proceeded to call her back. And she was like, "I want to speak to your manager." She was like, the manager's at lunch. And she was like, "Okay, well then have him call me back when he's done with lunch, or what time will he be back?" And she never ended up speaking to the manager. He never called or anything.
Hmm.
But she definitely did yell at Anna for me, which I felt great, like significantly a lot better about. But I was still just very startled because, again, I was like, I mean, what does adult content even mean? Like, I just wanted to read this woman's books. Like, did I know that? I just told you to send them, anyway. So I want to say it's a month later. I've gotten more books by Melissa de la Cruz and stuff like that. It's great. Now, I received this book on tape. It's called Vampire Hunter, Anita Blake, book 17.
Oh.
Oh no, it was 16. Which one was Blood Noir? Was that 16
16.
or 17?
16, I
16?
think.
Okay. I get this book called Blood Noir. Yeah.
She gets a book and has never been
I'm going
changed.
to family down and come
Okay.
back. Listen, you recording?
Yeah.
Don't close that stuff down there, okay?
Okay.
Where the rat, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay.
Don't close it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Continue.
I hear the agitation in your tone.
Yes.
She's like, "Are you recording?" Yes, and then she continues talking and she walks out. Like, "You're recording." Like, oh, this is so amusing. Anyway, so
Blood Noir.
I get Blood Noir. Simon had also around this time told me about this book by Judy Blume called Forever.
Oh.
And I was a
Oh,
fan of
we're
Judy
just
Blume.
encouraging each other in the worst
And I was
way.
like, okay, cool, this sounds good. So I received The Vampire Hunter and I received Judy Blume. I listened to all of the books on tape, like the beginning parts, to see like what the summaries were. And I was like, oh, like a vampire hunter. Okay, this sounds interesting. So I continued listening.
Yeah.
And I can
Wait,
visualize.
Hold on. How old are you at this point?
I'm still 12.
Okay, you're 12. Okay.
So
continue.
I begin listening, and I
This
can
explains a lot.
visualize this very clearly. I was in my room at our old apartment. We still had carpeting at the time. It was summer. The AC was on. I was laying beneath a blanket, like on the floor, and I began listening. And within the first chapter, so she has her men, and they're like kissing. I'm like, okay, that's not too unusual. Whatever people kiss. But then clothes start being taken off. There's sex on a table, sex on a couch. They're heading to the bedroom. There's a threesome. I remember calling Simon, like, Simon, what in the world? I think I played a part of it for him, and he did his awkward Simon laugh. He's like, oh my God, what is that? And it was just like, oh my God.
I don't remember that, but
I definitely called you, and you were definitely as startled. And I was just like, what
hilarious.
is going on? And so I kept reading.
Naturally.
And then I read Forever. So Forever is a book about a girl like losing her virginity, and I was like, I really should have read this in the opposite order, like to
yeah, I think so.
ease myself into the sexual
pun
literary
intended.
world.
Yes.
And
Okay,
that's
yeah.
how my reading of erotica began.
and let's just say that I was used to Judy Blume's children like fudge stories, and
See, that even sounds like anti-Anita fudge stories. Like, that just
Yeah,
sounds
Anita's
like,
always cursing. I'm
and
sorry,
then I
you
read
have to-
Forever, and then that was my first sex book, I guess.
Ugh, I really should have taken Simon's cue and read that one first.
Yeah.
The vampires sounded so interesting. I was
Yeah.
really into vampires.
and hunting them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hunting them.
And then, but you still, even after reading that, you wanted to read it from the very beginning. So
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and again, I should have started from the beginning of the series at the I mean, she just throws you in when the sex starts happening in book 10. But again, like I should have read it from the very beginning.
well, it turned out that the Anna apparently, ended up sending these to you anyway, even though it had a
Yeah,
book.
apparently.
Apparently, she was pissed off at being yelled at. She was like, "Fuck it, let me give this kid all these books."
I'll corrupt you.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
And look how you turned out.
I remember talking to her and ordering those books. Or no, I remember ordering some book or whatever. She's like, "Oh, you like that sex stuff?" I
Oh,
see.
Jesus.
in a Spanish,
With Anna.
in a Spanish, and she had like the Spanish accent. So,
Oh, do you like this?
So when was Bullet?
Thanks, Zoo.
I'm Colombian, y'all. It's okay. I can do it.
Okay, wait. I'm glad you said that because there is something I would like to touch on from this book. So,
Which book?
27. From
Oh,
the
so are we
latest one,
ready?
Sucker
Are we
Punch.
ready to go to 27?
I think we're ready. Do you think is there anything else that we should like?
No, I think this is all good.
catch them up on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Book 27. Anita is on a case, and this book is different from the rest. There are not whole chapters dedicated to her sex scenes.
Oh,
and her
okay.
getting-
No. Let me cue this because I read this before you, Lily,
Okay.
and I was so excited, and I called you so excited, right? I called you probably maybe like 98% of the way done with the book. Like all had to happen was like the final
I know.
little, climax
Same
thing,
with me,
and
by
then
the way.
the
Climax,
thing.
eh?
Okay, yeah,
I was very happy.
Simon.
Okay.
It's my story.
All right.
I was ecstatic because in no other book of Anita has there been zero sex, zero emotional debate for 50 pages where she, debates with all her men. And I mean, there was like a half a page of that, but it was fine. It was fine. That was like normal length. Okay. Never was there this huge, whatever. It was amazing. No like multi-bestial situations. It was amazing.
It was
amazing. And she hadn't killed anyone, which is also unheard of.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of like gore in these
she
books.
kills a
whether
lot
it's
of
crime
people.
scene that she's looking at, or she's looking into someone's eyes as she shoots their head off.
Right. Even examining a crime scene with a bunch of dead bodies, she didn't examine the body was moved. There was no body at the crime scene. Like the worst was like bloody footprints. Right?
There was no like in-depth description of the body.
Stuff that'll like make somebody throw up. And
no, absolutely. It was like a regular human mystery book. It was total. It was 100% normal. It was totally good.
There was a bit of magic with because there's a were-leopard rather on trial.
A little bit, but like barely. Okay. And then I call Lily, walking through all my little walk in the park. I called Lily. I'm like, Lily, you started this book. You got to read it. It's amazing. Like all the stuff that we complain
I've been
about.
Procrastinating. I've been putting it off. Like there's just going to be more of the same nonsense again.
Right. But it was awesome. I was like, you have to read this. And she's like, all right, I'll read it. We'll record this podcast, a couple of days later or whatever. And we hang up and I get home and I continue listening to the book. And within 5 minutes, the entire thing goes to hell.
Yes,
everything.
I was so mad.
Everything. There's a huge emotional thing. She murders the person that you're supposed to saving.
Yes.
And the bad guy doesn't get stopped by her.
Oh, and what annoyed me even more, that there wasn't even a torture scene for, what the hell was her name? Jocelyn? Oh, yeah.
Right, you just get up.
That tells us a lot about you, Simon.
This is a lot about. First of all, this is a lot about what you look forward to. But secondly, we get closure of the book, aka like the bad guy getting stopped and stuff. We get closure in the form of a postcard.
Yes.
Yeah. It all happens off screen.
Olaf sent her a postcard.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get into more details, there's one thing I want to touch on.
And then last thing. And then I finished the book. I am fully bummed out because this is one book in like a series that I finished that had a completely disgusting ending. And I also in the same week finished 2 other entire series, the final books in 2 other series that both had extremely disgusting endings. So it was not a good week, okay? It was not going well.
Wait,
and I called Lily and said, "Really, Lily? You had to mess it up for me right after I told you that it was amazing."
Wait, what other series were you reading?
You have not read either one of them.
Would I be interested?
They're both military. The one is a military fiction thing, and the other one, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But anyway, go on, Lily.
So one of the first things I want to touch on is one of the first things I want to touch on is in the books. Anita, they have some human made a big thing about like
very
calling.
Calm.
Let me
You're
just
very
talk,
like
okay?
soothed. Tell me about theory and themes.
Let me tell you. So one human like got upset and was like calling all shapeshifters lycanthropes is, disrespectful to the other ones because lycanthropes are wolves and all of the other ones aren't. So they start coming up with new terminology, therianthropes and Illyrianthropes and other types of thropes, right? And so Anita kind of keeps slipping up, right? Like she'll be like therianthropes, right? Now, the problem that I took with this is because this author talks a lot about like what's happening in real life. And so I kind of got sort of PC commentary on PC culture vibes. And I don't think that's necessary because I do feel like it's not necessarily my place to say if someone in particular is being too sensitive about something else or whatever. I do sometimes feel like people outside of a particular group is more sensitive sometimes than the group is. Like, if Zulay, I don't know, someone called her a coffee bean. And then, Francesco was like, "How dare you call her a coffee bean?" Like, blah, blah, blah. And Zulay's like,
"She's a mocha bean."
fine with it. And, Zulay is actually fine with it, but it's everybody else around her who's making an issue. I feel like this is often what happens in,
marginalized communities. And it felt very pointed because you could tell that she was so frustrated. She's like, oh, now we have these new PC terms like, oh my God, theory and throw. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Why am I using this new? We had like a perfectly working system. Like, you know.
So you think it was like the author comment, like.
That's how it felt. I don't know if she is, but I think about how she handled, Anita's poly situation and how very pointed she seems to be in that regard. And so it does feel like it.
That's fair. So Lily, tell me about the series. What'd you think? What'd you think that the bad guy was not, what was just pure human?
Okay, so I really liked a lot of this book.
Yes.
Anita was not a dumbass. Like, she's supposed to be so smart, and she's the big bad, and she's the executioner, and she's War of the Four Horsemen, and all of this stuff. But whenever she's on a case, like, she seems to be so stupid. Like, somebody will tell her something.
She needs a lot explained to her.
She does. And she's like, wait, so what are you telling me?
Yeah,
and they're like,
exactly.
they're like, the sky is blue. And she's like, wait, but what are you telling me? And they're like, well, the sky that you see above your head is actually this blue color. So you're telling me that the sky above my head and your head is a blue color? And they're like, yeah. And she's like, what? And it's like, ma'am, but you're supposed to be the expert. You're supposed to know this beforehand. And she's just always leading. And I think that perhaps this is a way for Laurell K. Hamilton to make sure that everyone is on the same page. But I feel like, one, that leaves her not giving the readers enough credit, but that especially leaves her not giving Anita enough credit. Like, you can have another character maybe like ask the stupid questions and stuff like that, but it really doesn't seem fitting for Anita because she's supposed to be this great expert. So I appreciated that she just didn't, like, it wasn't the case of her stupidity like ruining a case. I did see a few reviews on Goodreads and they felt like the answer was obvious, but I actually liked how things played out. I liked that it wasn't really obvious from the beginning. I liked also this, Anita going through this. I mean, so she's always going through turmoil. I feel like in every book she's like, do I still want to be a U.S. Marshal? Do I still want to be a part of the preternatural branch and kill people? And my soul can't handle it anymore. And then the next book she's killing people again. And so I actually really like that. I could see more turmoil in this one because she's actively, like, they're trying to save someone's life rather than end it or just like go on hunt. Like, it's not a done deal. Like, she's called in on this case so that she can help the other marshal to save this guy's life.
Yeah.
And so I definitely liked that. Some people didn't like that a lot of her main guys weren't in it, but honestly, some of them are a little annoying.
No, I was so glad that they were not, actually. I was happy that they were not. So.
Sorry, I have a question. She's still not married.
No.
They keep getting closer and closer.
But she's still not married. Oh, there was more mention of her family this time around, though.
That's
like
true.
More mention collectively than I feel like in most of the books.
She needs to do a book where she like goes visits her family.
Oh my
so
God,
she talks about that. She talks about that. So I listened to, this is like my late night deep dive into the Hamilton.
This is your guilty pleasure.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Hashtag clever.
Yeah.
The funny part is it was really genuine. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. So apparently, within the next 3 books,
Lord have
we're gonna have a wedding. We're gonna have a wedding, and she said that before the wedding, Anita's going to need to confront her parents about.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm actually really excited.
So
for that.
yes, exactly. So she said it's unlikely that she'll go home, but she'll have to confront her parents somehow.
What's her name? Judith? That's the stepmother's
Judith
name?
is a stepmom.
Oh my God. Judith better be as big a bitch as she says she is.
Watch
like, if it's all this build up.
Watch her be like a regular degular, like,
Or just like
all this build up and she's like, Anita, I just wanted to love you. I'm slapping Laurel. Yeah. I am.
Or just like a quarter page confrontation and then like not a single mention in the rest of it until she walks down the aisle and her like Judith gives her a look and then no mention.
Let's talk about how trash her father is.
Her father is, I was gonna say her trash's father. That too. But her father is absolutely atrocious. Like, he never stepped in to defend his kid. He just kind of let her be the runt of the family. He let his mother talk trash about her. You married her mother, sir.
Right.
Not long after his original wife died, right? It was pretty
Yeah.
fast, wasn't it? It was like,
Wait a minute.
yeah,
Wait a minute. This man has had 3 wives.
two.
No, he means
Got it.
I think
I
he
understand.
means Anita's
Okay.
mom. But what I mean though is like, you know, was Grandma Blake talking trash about Anita like when
Oh,
and
she
her
was
mom
talking.
too.
She was talking crap about Mama Anita,
Mama Mexico?
Mama Mexico. Yes.
Or was it just like she was kind of forced into like quite okay, whatever, you married her. Oh, but now you got this blonde, but you still have this dark chick? Like really? Like, and
The funny
again,
thing is that sis isn't even tan.
she's not. But she's a blemish on the family.
Her
This
dark,
gives
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
Hitler vibes.
I mean, they are German.
Oh,
That might be what she's going for.
I mean, maybe because okay, I would understand if they're like, okay, you know, she's like tan, she looks very Mexican, da 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 da. Literally, the only sign of her Mexican heritage is her black hair and dark brown eyes. Her brown black eyes, or some whatever the fuck she describes them as, right? Literally everything else about this girl is pale. So it is so hard for me to believe that Judith is just so rude to her because she has.
right, because she could pass very easily.
Yeah, she could just
Just
be
'cause she had-
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like she could just look like a white girl with like dark hair and dark eyes. Like I said before, that is the thing.
Like, I don't think she
Now-
has particularly Mexican feature. Like, I know her
No.
hair is like really curly and stuff like that.
but she could straight iron it if she wanted to.
Well, she has just so much hair, guys. Her hair is like waist length, and then she likes men with long hair. And when she was gonna cut her hair, one of her guys started to cut his hair, so now they both just have ass length hair.
God, they're so ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But
There's a lot.
what I'm struck by is like maybe Judith doesn't like the reminder of his like the fact that he was married before, regardless of whatever the race of the child of the woman of the ex-wife was. Now, I'm not trying to take away racism and microaggressions. I'm not trying to do that at all. What I'm saying is like, where was your father?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like their relationship continued because he went hunting with her and stuff like that, but not
That's right, yeah.
really.
Not
And
really.
if you're gonna be distant from Judith, you absolutely have to be like upset with your father because at the end of the day, that's the one who is your father.
No. I completely agree with you. But this is what I mean, though. Like he has to have known that these things were because they still had a relationship. You know, it wasn't like I don't know, let's say she pulled away from the whole family and she didn't talk about anything, right? But presumably in this book, she says that Judith would like be making these jabs on the phone and stuff like that. And the only reason her stepsister seemed like she stood up with her is because she's like, it's uncool to have like a racist stepmother or like
That's
a racist
right. I remember
mother.
that. Yes, yes.
So she was like, that's the only reason why like Andrea really actually ever said anything. But mom would be just talking trash on the phone, or stepmom would be talking trash on the phone.
Is that her stepsister's name, Andrea?
Yeah.
I missed that. Wow, good on
Oh
you.
wow, I missed it too.
But you also got to think when Anita was dealing with all this, she was like 18, right?
She was younger than that. She was.
Or yeah, in high school, like high school Anita. You got to think high school Anita and now Anita, like that's got to be well, obviously it's different, but it's got to be different for Judith to deal with. Like I wonder if Judith will like come in and try to deal with her in the same way that she used to, and see what happens.
I think it would definitely be interesting to explore. I know she has a relationship with book 8 is here. Sorry, I got an email in the series that I'm reading. The final book is out. Oh my god. Okay. What was I saying? Oh
There.
yeah. So oh man. Okay. It's
And
fine. But crap, I completely lost my train of thought.
All good.
But I will say that so at the end of this book, she was kind of saying how they're kind of implying that she's not sure if she wants to be part of the preternatural branch because of the whole
Killing innocent people
and everything that
losing
happened.
pieces of her soul and stuff.
Yeah.
That BS.
I wonder if like the last book would just be her retiring.
Okay, so I've been thinking about that, and I feel like, especially with this book, though, it seems like we're leading more toward it. But I'm
Yeah.
like, are we going to see her attempt to be doing other things, attempting to get into more vampire politics, attempt to like find a new job or something, or are we just going to end it with the way? So the way she ends books, guys, is
It's
like
very
it's very abrupt. It's
bad.
like oh, okay, so we spend 600 pages looking at, these criminals and all this stuff like that. And then we end on, and so this happened and that happened and bing, bing, boom, like 2 pages of wrap up.
Yeah. I think she probably is just like trying to meet deadlines. I wonder if she like procrastinates on her work and then like, oh, wait, I have this deadline. Fuck, I gotta finish it, and then just finishes it. And
I don't, because it's not. If she wanted to write another page or two to an ending, I don't think that would detract from a deadline, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So
and it
it's
doesn't
gotta be a
seem like,
conscious
because she
choice.
talks about when I followed her Twitter like a little bit more actively, like she'd talk about writing and all this stuff like that, and I don't think she's working on anything. Like she has another series, a Meredith Gentry series, and apparently she has a whole bunch of other things like short stories, and she like edited some things and stuff like that, whatever. But it seems like a lot of what she works on is Anita.
Yeah. I feel like the better Meredith. I haven't really read that one, but I have a feel like that one kind of like went behind, or she's kind of.
No, it did.
Yeah,
it did. Did you guys know that her first, apparently, I think like her first big public reading, whatever, of the first Anita book back in the 90s was to a crowd that was expecting the reading of the newest Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, I did not know.
And apparently they canceled last minute and gave her the room. This was at like a writers convention or something.
Wow.
And so they packed the room, and no one knew who she was. And everyone was there for a Star Trek Next Generation reading.
That
and she starts reading
very
Anita.
Different book.
And it was very different.
Yeah.
And so she starts reading Guilty Pleasures and reads the first 90 pages apparently.
Oh.
And everyone according to her, like no one leaves. Everyone's just like massively into it.
I mean,
So,
listen, I can believe that no one left in case they didn't want to be rude. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm already here.
I find it very hard to believe that people were riveted by the first 90 pages of that book.
Yeah.
It's a fast pace. Yeah, it was good.
It took me a while actually to get into it. It took me a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, same. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it though. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zulay. So, okay.
Listen, Zulay, everything seemed really good as comparison to just being tossed headfirst into a threesome, right?
Yes,
I was like, oh, okay, like
as a
this
12-year-old.
vampire, and she like as a 12-year-old, like everything seemed great and like well paced after that.
Yeah.
Let's
What do we want? Let's all see. What are we most looking forward to in the next few books? I want the wedding.
Okay.
That's all I really want.
I sound very basic when I say that, but I want them to get married, and I want the showdown with her parents.
I want the parents. I want the family. I really don't really care about the romance.
Okay, hold on. One thing that I thought was actually kind of cool, and I would love to see how this is handled. So, Zoo, since you haven't read this in so long, so they have, Edward is like human, but he is really.
Oh yeah.
Shit,
he is really like just good at his job, and people are always like, bro, like, you sure there's nothing else going on? But obviously he passes all the blood tests and yada yada yada. In the last couple of pages, there's this whole big thing. They have to kill this wereleopard. Anita jumps in the way of him, but he still gets scratched a little bit. And she's like, oh shit, like, is that my blood or is that his blood? And his tests come back inconclusive, which means he could be a were animal. And I think he was always very firmly against that. So I actually would like to see how he handles that.
Oh shit.
Exactly. And if he got it from Anita, then what did he
would
get?
That do to their
right?
But also, what would that do to their friendship?
Their friendship. Well,
Shit.
I'm more curious to know what, like, because she has a lot of stuff going on inside her. So I'm curious.
So he might end up being a sort of chimera type creature as well. Yeah.
I was kind of upset that she did that because I liked Edward the way he was. I did not want him, to get any of that, and I feel like
so. Funny you say that because, again, I'm referring back to the one and only interview I've ever heard from her, which I looked up after this book. The interview was after the launch of the previous book, so the one where she went to Florida, 26, I guess.
Yeah.
And someone asked about. Say again?
England? Lily?
No.
Yeah.
Florida.
No. What we read, I was reading in England, and Zulay was horrified that I was reading.
Yeah. And someone asked her, hey, like, Edward's pretty mortal. He's getting kind of old. How's he going to keep up? And she get this whole spiel on how like people who are naturally athletic, people who are not naturally athletic, they don't actually slow down when they hit their 40s because they never knew what it was like to be athletic. But like people who are like into sports when they're younger, they like have this big slow down midlife crisis moment when they start like getting clumsy. And so I don't know. She gives this whole speech about like athletes and getting older. And then she's like, Edward's gonna need to realize that he's just human and can't keep up, or otherwise he's gonna have to figure out something else to do. So, and she left it like that.
Well, then maybe that means she's not.
Well, I think maybe she doesn't know what she's going to do with it yet.
Does she know what she's going to do? No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
Her response.
So I think it could be interesting either way, though.
Her response to someone asking, when's the next Meredith Gentry book coming out? Her response was, Meredith and I are talking. We're working our issues out. And when we figure out what's going on.
I'm not going to get mad at that one. Listen, the life of a writer is a very strange one, okay? Like,
no, I get it. But when you are making your character a living person and talking to them about problems, I feel like you sort of relinquish the responsibility of knowing what's going to happen, because then you're leaving it up to them a little bit. Right? And what they tell you.
This is what happens.
Yeah. So we want to see. Yeah, agreed on the Edward part. I want. Another thing.
Somebody tell me what happens to Olaf.
Oh, that's another thing. I want to know.
We'll get back to that in a quick second.
Wait, but you haven't. Okay. Well, I was gonna say because Zulay, you haven't. I thought you stopped after like book 7. Olaf came in Obsidian.
Olaf came in book 9.
She's heard all of it from Lily. I'm sure.
Heard from Lily. And my handy dandy Goodreads.
Okay.
But so first of all, I was just going to say that I think it could be interesting however this is handled, because, Edward is always very against being a dash insert new term thrope. And, what if he gets all of these things? And so Anita's thing, she's been like attacked by so many were animals and she doesn't change into any of them. And the theory is it's because she had the vampire marks first.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so, what if he can turn into all of the creatures? Does he get one in particular?
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm still confused. He got scratched by whom?
He got scratched by a dying were-leopard in his were-leopard form. But the thing is, Anita jumped in the way to try to like save him from the scratch because she's like, I already have leopard, like blah, blah, blah. And I already had tons of strains of lycanthropy. But the thing is, she's like, is that, in the scratch, like, did you just hurt yourself some other way? Was it my blood? Was it his claws? And his tests were inconclusive. Yes. And so I think this could be interesting either way, because now how does he deal with it? He first was kind of like, don't beat yourself up about it. Like, you tried to save my life, but is that going to matter? The other thing too
is he going to get the hots for her?
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
And if he does, I think that's what's going to finally make me stop reading.
Yeah. If she crosses that line,
I'm done. No.
Please don't.
Yeah.
But, or if he doesn't become a lycanthrope, I wonder if like he might have sort of like, I don't know, shifter's remorse. And he's like, he realizes that he is kind of slowing down, like thinking about what he could have been were he,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that could be really interesting, especially
this could be his farewell.
It could be. And it's really interesting, with Olaf is now a were-lion. Anita has all of these, all of the people, except for Bernard, but we don't really see him very much anymore. Bernardo.
What that?
Spotted horse.
Oh, the Mexican, the Native American?
The Native American.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was half of something else. That's why he's Bernardo.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, I think that could be really interesting. About Olaf. So Olaf is this serial killer. Anita fits his...
I'm eating, so if it's going to get too graphic, let me know so I can put it down. Me and my squeamish stomach.
Okay, I'll let you know. You're eating meat, yeah?
No, I'm eating shrimp, but I don't want to...
Okay, he doesn't do anything nasty to shrimp, so it's fine.
Yeah.
If it was meat, then you might want to put it down, but it's all good.
Well, so he's a serial killer, and Anita fixes victim profile.
She's like small and dark, but not like skin dark. Only because she is pale. Have we mentioned that yet?
Yes.
And but yeah, so she's petite and she's like, got dark hair, dark eyes. And he generally, like, if he's with a woman, it's like seducing her for a job. Otherwise, he's seducing her to kill her, basically. And
But not just to kill her, to like flay her. Basically.
Zulay, you want to put it down?
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's shrimp. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yes,
I was
to
eating
literally
the cucumber of avocado one, so it's okay right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay right now.
Yeah.
Cucumber of avocado.
Did you know that when the special effects in movies make like broken bone sounds, they get the snapping of celery or cucumber, and then they lower the octave by a few octaves.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know
That's how they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that?
That's so interesting.
By the way, I wonder if
So
those sound
think about that
effects
next time you
really
crunch
sound-
down on a roll. Do
Come
that.
on.
That was just disrespectful.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize.
Francesco.
Half of my ancestors' food too. I'm sorry.
I wonder if that's actually how like when bones break, that's how that sounds like in real life. But anyway,
Simon,
Simon,
I have a proposition for you.
yes.
find out.
No,
You
Simon.
give me your arm. I will show you how it sounds.
Oh,
We can
God.
find out together to make it an experiment.
And record it so the rest of us can hear.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
The only
You
way
gotta
that
muzzle
would
him so that the snap is
You gotta
not like
muzzle him.
is not like isn't overshadowed by his scream. You know what I mean?
the only way that would probably happen is if I start Brazilian jiu-jitsu whenever things
You
go
have to
back to
muzzle
normal.
him with
and-
Nathaniel's collar.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that is
Wow.
not what I thought you were gonna say. Okay.
Oh no, Zulay, bad
God.
play.
Wow.
Wow.
But anyway, so he is a serial killer who is interested in Anita. Anita and Edward hatched this brilliant plan to sort of, especially when Olaf becomes a werelion at some point.
Because the serial killer was in danger, so that's why he
Exactly.
superpowers.
Just up the ante. So,
They hatch a plan to
Yes, thank
basically. So Olaf wants to date Anita, and he wants to date her enough to give up his serial killer tendencies with her. He's willing to try things like normal, like average, And so they hatch a brilliant plan.
because
First of all,
she's not like other girls.
no.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
Okay,
wait,
therapy
Yes.
was cool,
being
dude.
not
Nina.
like
What?
not like other girls reminded me. I just want to insert this super
Yes.
quickly.
yes, yes.
So there's one point where she says that she let out a breath, and I was like, oh my god, thank God she didn't say it. She didn't say the phrase. She just said she let out a breath she'd been holding. Okay, so you realized you were holding the breath. But near the end of the book, I was listening to it. I was like eating or pacing or something. And she goes, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I thought better of you, Laurel. Like, I don't know why,
Did you?
because of how
Did you
your books
really?
have gone. But why are we always letting out breaths we didn't know we were holding?
And I bet you it's like a nice calm, like not like a like
In her interviews, by the way, she does that. Like she does like.
Oh,
the
she
whole-
huffed. No, we're gonna
Yeah.
get to that in a second. Let's finish the book first, and then I'll tell you. So Olaf. So they hatch a brilliant plan that Anita will pretend to date Edward, so that Olaf does not, get carried away.
Wait.
What?
Okay. Yes. No.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Does not get carried away.
Mm-hmm.
But then Olaf, like, he actually becomes a reasonable person in the sense that, like, he
He's, like,
respects
attempting
consent.
to-
Yes.
Or not respect, but
Isn't
he's
he a
attempting to
rapist
learn
as
it.
well?
He's
Or
yes,
am I-
yes,
He's
yes.
attempting,
he is.
he's like, okay, but I really, for whatever reason, Anita really rings his bells. And he's
Really
like-
that? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Sometimes.
anyway, so Anita really rings his bells.
You can't say it again.
And-
Okay, sorry.
And so he's like, I'm gonna try to understand this consent thing. And she's like, I think you understand consent. You just don't like it. Perhaps.
He's like, that's fair. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I unpack this? I'm gonna wait until you're done. to
Okay, no,
unpack
it's
this
almost done. But so basically,
because-
she doesn't know what to say when he's actually asking permission and stuff,
Right.
like actually being polite.
Right.
So she says yes, because the alternative, she can't say no
Hold on.
What?
So we get to this problematic instance where she's like, you can't just touch it. Like he had touched her knee, and she was like, "Get your hands off me." And he was like, "But why? Nobody saw us." And she was like, rawr, because I said so. And then they go have this talk, and they have this. That's when they have the discussion about consent, yada yada. Later on, he's like, "Can I kiss you?" And she was like,
Right, he listened to her talk.
He's actually what asking. I said,
yeah.
What do I? And even though she talks about not being indoctrinated into girlhood, she does do the very typical thing of, because he's doing the good thing right now, you're gonna reward him.
Yeah.
And she is like, well, I guess I'll just kiss him this one time. And he's like, actually,
why did you just make her into like Scarlett O'Hara, Blanche DeVoe? Like, what is going on?
I think it's the vibe that she was giving off.
This podcast is really bringing the what word I'm like? See, not my brain's going. The accents. It's really bringing out the accents in you. We got 4 out of you last time. This time we got 2.
See, I like being theatrical, and most of the accents are fine. That Caribbean one still slipped out, but I like. Yeah. I can't really do it. I can't do a German accent well enough, so Olaf just gets whatever. We
got the taste from your mom coming in earlier, so we got like half. Yeah, but he's German, so next time you impersonate, I'm gonna need a German accent.
I will. I'll work on it.
Okay. But so yeah, so the alternative. Oh, God. This is actually episode 21, not 9. But anyway, so.
I'm sorry.
It
was pretty fast, like quick on your feet.
Thank you.
Sometimes flexes you got.
Theory. But anyway, so the alternative. So she can't say no, because then once he finds out that he has no chance with her, he's going to try to kill her or something like that. So she can't say no. So it's either say yes or shoot him first. Basically, like those are her choices. So she keeps in her mind, she's always like, well, I don't want to kill him now, so I guess I'll say yes. So like, I don't want, so that she's always compromising, I feel, because she doesn't, not that she has like qualms on killing him personally, but I guess she's just still not into open murder.
Doesn't even have qualms of killing him.
Right. I feel like he should just do it.
He should just take the decision out.
Well,
no.
Remember, she asked him that.
Commentary on this book.
She asked him why wouldn't he or something, and he's like, well, he's good on the job or something. Like which is he is aight. But anyway, so long story short, she says yes, he does it, and then she storms out and freaks out, and like Edward arrives.
And she runs into Edward's arms.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Ted. Oh, actually, Ted's the one with the accent. He's like, hey there, little lady. Why the fuck are you hugging me? You don't hug me in public.
That's not a Ted accent. That's not a Ted
hey there, little lady. I love it.
He does little lady people, so.
He does little lady people, but he has an accent, Lily, and you didn't.
I did.
No,
I did accent.
Not strong enough.
Why you just made him sound like a redneck?
That's how Ted Forrester is. That is it.
That's
anyway,
Ted Forrester persona.
Continue.
And she explains.
Does he little lady her?
Yeah,
no.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's his Ted
and
Forrester.
She doesn't get offended.
No, that's his Ted persona.
I thought he partners her, but
hey there, partner.
Women.
Yeah,
he little lady's the other women.
Because of course she's.
But also, she has evolved. She does let people open the door for her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She has gone through some changes, but not enough.
Yeah.
Does she still flip out when they try to pull out her chair? Or is
no, it's fine now.
Yeah. No, they've all learned not to do that, so that doesn't come up anymore. That doesn't come up anymore.
I remember the first time I read that shit, I said, "Excuse me." Like, what?
But so Edward is like, she's like, Edward, I don't know what to do. Like, he's actually being reasonable. And Edward's like, that doesn't exist, right? Like, he's just crazy. And she's like, but he's actually trying to do like what I tell him to do. Like, he's trying to like follow the rules.
Edward doesn't believe. And then he sees him do it and he's like, holy crap, he's actually
like,
trying.
All right, maybe we should just have sex with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, he doesn't. You're lying to me.
Yeah. He does.
He does.
Oh my God.
Yes,
he's like, I thought the plan was to get me not to. He's like, yeah, I think we just need to like rearrange things a little bit.
So part of the ending, which brought everything crashing back down after she murders the good guy and lets the bad guy get away, is they have or I guess right before that, they have a huge emotional discussion in the motel room about
all
like
sitting
between
in a room.
her and Olaf. trying to figure things out.
Everybody is talking about her kinks. Anita's like, oh my God, don't say that I did that. Nikki's like, she likes getting tied up. And she's like, oh my God, I don't talk about that. Ugh, blushing is such an involuntary response. Okay, well, the people that I'm not sleeping with need to get out. And one of them is just kind of like joking.
Yeah.
They're like, we're whatever. Like, we've probably seen the show at some point. Like, it's fine. And she's like, oh my God. And, Olaf is like, I'll have vanilla sex with you. And they're like, this is, she doesn't have vanilla sex. But vanilla sex to him is not chopping her up. So, there was no definition beyond that. Like, they needed to, like, get to those boundaries. Yeah. And, so they just start having this whole discussion, start throwing out the terminology, like, like consensual bondage and whatever else. And, she can use the correct terminology for polyamory, but like have a, a leopard want to be called a leopard rather than a wolf. And it's like, fuck that noise.
Yeah.
So,
but they actually
just
entertained the discussion, which makes me think within the next few books, we're going to see that escalate.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't make it doesn't make sense. What are you going to do? Make it.
I hope he tries to
happen?
like kill her. I hope he like loses control and tries to kill, and then she just kills him, so we could just get rid of him.
I hope so.
Yeah, although I mean, in a way, like it's kind of fun when he comes in the books, wouldn't you say, or no?
No, see, we know with the books that the series like is really making a turn for the worse when we meet Olaf's son.
Oh God.
Excuse me, what?
No.
He has a son?
No.
But he might. You don't know.
Good
We don't know
point.
There'll be one woman he let get away,
Ooh.
and I don't know.
No,
Anyway,
remember, because he does do it normally if he's like if he's undercover or something, right? Or if he's like playing a role.
That's true.
So we don't know.
Let's get to. I'm kind of curious.
Yes.
Who is your favorite or most memorable? Okay, so there are some crazy things that go on in this book, and by crazy, I mean I want to say like batshit crazy. Like for example, I'm remembering Raina. Like in
the wolf?
I liked her.
I liked her too. The Lunatic Cafe.
She was crazy.
Wait. Are we doing a recap of like the series of like favorite parts of the series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
before
not
we
parts, but just like the craziest.
Let's let Zulay go on Olaf.
Yes,
for a
please.
second.
Okay.
It's a very
Wait,
a lot
let
in
me
the
hold on.
suitcase. Unpack.
Let me give you the soapbox real quick. All right, here, go for it.
So I would just like to preempt this. I would just like to preempt this by saying that I am a former sociology major. So yes, okay. This shit is really problematic. Really problematic. Really problematic.
Really?
So he is a rapist, flaying murderer.
Wait, hold on a second. I just thought about something.
Wait,
he's
who?
German and he's dark-haired and dark-eyed.
Oh.
Oh, but somehow he's not a blemish on his family.
I mean, he probably is for other reasons. I think
This is true.
If they're still alive.
This is a fact.
Oh,
yes.
Can you imagine if we meet Olaf's mother?
Oh,
That'd be scary.
God.
Oh my gosh, imagine if she's as taller than Olaf. That'd be
Ooh.
extra scary. He's 7 feet.
jeez.
Okay, so this is, and I thought this was really valid. This is
Okay.
one of the reasons Anita does not want to be with him. She's just like that much height. Like she can't even. I mean, excluding his serial killerness, like yada yada. Like that's a lot in
That's
terms
a
of height
big
difference.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's almost
Anyway.
2 feet.
That's true.
No, literally. Okay.
Go on.
Continue.
So he is a rapist and a serial killer who flays his victims.
Mhm.
And somehow Laurell K. Hamilton, after all these years of therapy, thought that it was acceptable for her to make Anita be the one exception. And she's so not like other women. And other women are so stupid
doesn't
and
like
so flawed and so weak that somehow Anita, who's the exception, can change this man. Never mind that he has been probably killing and raping and maiming for years, if not decades, right? Anita is the one exception to the rule, and he's going to try to respect consent for her. And what kind of toxic bullshit is that? What kind of message are you sending? Ma'am, I really need you to...
Well, that's why Anita still isn't fully with him yet.
I will say, and again, referring to my one and only interview that I listened to her, the subject of Olaf did come up, and she said very clearly, Olaf is not, I forgot like the term she used, but like he is not, like the bad boy that she is going to save. Like she has big
He's
problems.
not redeemable.
He is not, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what she said. He is not redeemable. You people
Thank
need
God.
this, because apparently a lot of her fans want them to work. And so she's like, and someone actually asked, like stood up in the Q&A and was like, what about Olaf? Are they going to, see more Anita, whatever? And she was like, listen, lady, he is not redeemable. There is a lot of things wrong with him. Exactly. So I think she's on your side.
Listen, as someone who reads a lot of romance, right? And I've read a lot of bad boy angsty romances, right?
Spicy.
No, that's what Anita is, because she's half Mexican, but pale.
Like as someone who has read a lot of those books, right? They're cheaters and they have substance abuse issues and they have broken hearts and have been abandoned and all these things that is not really their fault, and they're assholes, which definitely needs to be worked on. But there is a big jump from that to being a rapist and a murderer and a flayer. Like, what is wrong with people?
One who flays.
I try not to kink shame, but I'm shamelessly kink shaming this one. What the hell is wrong with you?
So I'm glad
some
you said
people
that
have
about
weird
the
fantasies.
interview.
Yeah.
But a fantasy, this is something that he makes into reality, though.
Well. Oh wait, I thought she was referring to the woman.
No, Olaf and
Olaf
Anita.
and Anita. Okay, yeah.
Oh no, I'm referring to the women who
women who are
want this man
interested?
to work.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
Right.
Because they're not talking about let's redeem this man through like taking him to therapy and some intense cycle whatever so that he can figure out his problems. It's vaginal redemption because her vagina is so golden and unique and special that Anita can heal him by blessing her and blessing him with her vagina. What the hell?
Well, listen, just make him heal, just like feed on him, bend him to your will, and then whatever, it's fine.
So even if she kills him in the end, right? It's still almost 20 books that they've been knowing each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah.
Sorry.
No,
you just said that and it reminded me. Edward is an ancient friend. Because what do you mean? Oh, well, you should have sex with him. He is a rapist and a
exactly. Yeah.
What kind of friend? What twisted relationship? And then also the fact that you know that this man does these things, but because he's convenient for you and helps you out every once in a while, you're not going to try to prosecute him or whatever. So the people who he harms, the women who he harms are just expendable to you because he helps you kill.
Well, he doesn't harm anyone on American soil. That's their deal. Otherwise, Edward's going to kill him.
Girl,
please note the American soil.
Girl, this is getting worse and worse. So only people on American soil are worthy of protection? Fuck everybody else? Fuck all the other women? Never mind that he probably sits like 1 foot across the border in Mexico and starts maiming and raping and killing those women. That's acceptable because they're not on American soil. And
it's interesting that you went for Mexico since they are often short and also dark-haired.
I mean, I was literally just thinking about the proximity, but yeah, that too. And I mean, that is his type, right? You said
that is his type.
Oh,
so,
no.
Needless to say, many issues with Olaf.
Many issues with Laurell.
With Laurell as well. Yeah.
But I mean, okay, there are people that write bad characters, though. I mean, it's just.
I feel like this is going a little beyond.
Well, no, so here's the thing, right? Okay, so he's a bad character. I'm not disagreeing, and people do write bad characters, that's fine. But, it's what they're doing with his character. Like, you're now, they're making compromises. This is what, what is she saying that's allowable? The fact that she's still having him be alive rather than someone who they're actively, like Anita at least is actively trying to kill. Like, Edward's been through a lot. Whatever, okay, he has like a warped sense of morals, but Anita, even though she's been through a lot, she still acknowledges it. Like, she doesn't want Olaf to be around any of her people. She's terrified to be alone with him. Okay, that's fine. So then why do you continue to go along with Edward or not push harder before on like killing him, before he was interested, before like. So I agree with you. Yes, there are unlikable characters. There are disgusting characters because they're unlikable and disgusting humans. So this is where she pulls from. But it's what she does with the character in her story.
And it's what she allows, right? It's what she does with the character in her story and what she does with the people around him. Because not only is he a disgusting character, now you're saying, hey, he can be redeemed by magical pussy, like Anita specifically, which is a terrible message for women. And I'm not saying that every woman, look, I don't know if she's a feminist or not. I don't know. I'm not going to make those kinds of whatever. But the point is that as a writer, you do have a responsibility to kind of think about the things that you write and think about the messages you put out there. And that's a very dangerous message.
Yeah, but how many people are actually, when they're reading this is pure fantasy fiction. When they're reading this, how many people are actually thinking about these things? That might just
a lot of people do, because this is something that does get indoctrinated into your head, like thinking about Twilight, thinking about books like that. People, if you read enough of it, then you're going to, even if you're like, this is crazy, you're also going to find the behavior normal.
I guess.
Because it works, it normalizes the behaviors that we're taught, right? And as women, and I won't speak for all women, and maybe it's changing with our generation, like now and stuff, but there's definitely a belief that like, oh, you can just change a man, right? You can just change your partner. You can redeem him. Like you are, people don't have to do the internal work themselves. They don't have to want to change on their own for their own reasons to make themselves better. You can change somebody if you work hard enough, right?
See.
And there's a difference between me trying to convince you to go to school or decide what you're going to do with your life and me getting you to stop being a rapist and a murderer with no work from you and no desire from you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean,
agree.
especially fantasy where you're like escaping. Well, I mean, part of getting into it is you're sort of taking some of the book into yourself, right? So you're whether you consciously do it or not.
Or,
I feel
right.
like
And that's the thing. I don't think people are necessarily thinking like, oh, I can do this. Like I don't think it's a conscious thing necessarily, but it's just a further reiteration and reinforcing of a lot of the things that are a lot of the ways in which women are socialized.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're
So on that end, if we could
before
pick,
you go,
yes.
I just wanted to also add that, in addition to that, so most of it is fantasy, but you think about the characters, you think about like who Anita finds attractive, like you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can find this, sometimes you start to shape your opinions around the characters that you read. And so it's like, okay, vampires don't exist, but okay, like this is a character I want to emulate. Like she's this badass, she's got knives, she's tiny, but she's always fighting or whatever. And it's like, these are the men that she's interested in. And again, like it's not only like Anita, but you have other people who like are in relationships with toxic people. And so like Zulay says, it does normalize it. But even with it being fantasy, like people expect there to be some level of truth to like these characters, to like what they say about the world, if not necessarily, completely realistically in terms of like vampires, obviously, but what they say about human character and stuff like that, human nature.
Right. All books, whether you intend them to or not, end up being social commentary and reveal some of your beliefs. And then the fact that she models Anita so much after herself, right? And presumably the men in the book are about over people that she knows in her life. It kind of becomes a little allegorical. So it's more than just fantasy.
If she does model her characters after people she knows, I wonder who she knows that reminds her of Olaf.
Yeah.
Me too. And, I'd like to hope that this one just came from her head rather than this be someone that she's like, actually knows, and she's kind of writing how to handle him as well. Because I'm just like, damn, I hope, all the police officers who help her with this book, I hope she can rely on them to get her Olaf away.
Help her out. Yeah, help her out with that situation.
Yeah.
I have a little fun fact for you guys.
Okay.
So that there's an Anita comic.
I did not.
Yes,
I did not know that.
There is an
I did know that.
There is an Anita Blake comic, but it's only the first three books. Yeah, 3 books.
Oh.
Do you know why it's only the first three books?
Why?
No.
Because the 4th book is Lunatic Cafe. And do you remember that's the one with the wolves? Do you remember what happens in Lunatic Cafe?
Don't they like?
I don't remember.
Richard to finally like.
Oh, there's
overthrow some right or something.
No, there's some porn. Werewolf like,
but
some weird
kind?
torture.
Oh, snuff porn.
Yeah,
Snuff porn.
Snuff. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And guess what also happens exactly when book 4 or when that's about coming out, Disney buys Marvel, which was producing her comic.
Oh.
And Disney didn't want snuff porn associated to Disney. So apparently that's, according to her, that is why there is no continuation of the Anita Blake comic. But you know what that also means? That also means that for a very short period of time, Anita Blake was a Disney princess.
Actually, I'm going to argue against that first because there is criteria that Disney has set forth for their princesses that she does not pass.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Anita would not listen to the criteria set for her.
But she also wouldn't want to be a princess because they only wear pink.
Cinderella's in blue.
Yeah, there you go.
Many of them are in blue, but that's not what a princess does. And they, even though Belle, doesn't need anyone to like rescue her, she rescues herself. It's still the idea of the princess. She eschews all womanly things because she's one of the guys, remember?
Right. So
I'll give you that she might have been a Disney prince, but she was certainly not a princess.
I have a question. What are the criteria to be a Disney princess?
I do not remember. You want to look it up? That's your task.
I feel maybe.
Can you guys imagine? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was gonna say let's do. So there's a game in England or England in England.
So I thought that's what you were going for. I was like, maybe it's a new word.
Inkling, yes, Inkling. Similar to Inkling. Anyway, let's do an Anita version of Shag, Marry, or Kill, where it's basically who do you want to be friends with, who do you want to date, and who do you want to just go away.
Okay.
And you want to go first, Lily?
You guys are going to hate me, but okay.
We already do, but no, okay.
Wow.
Before you start, sorry, I found the criteria.
Oh, yes.
The character must be human or humanoid, as in the case of Ariel and Tinkerbell. The character must be the main person in a Disney Pixar film.
Check.
The character must be royal by birth, marriage, or do a heroic deed.
Check.
And I think there was something else, but those are the three main ones. Wait, let me just double check.
I think it fits.
Oh dear.
Yep. Nita is a Disney princess.
Can we make her wear blue?
Wow.
I mean, make her wear pink rather.
She first of all, she did wear pink once.
I know she did. She has. She
That
hasn't
was
liked
her.
it.
I found what unqualifies her.
Ooh.
Okay.
She can't be the star of a sequel.
What?
Well,
technically,
Wait, that's dumb. Mulan has a sequel.
Yeah.
So does Pocahontas.
so does Cinderella.
She does?
Cinderella has 2 sequels.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Huh. What happens in these sequels?
There's something about the stepsister. I vaguely remember the third. I don't remember. Look at it. We'll watch it together.
All right.
Hey guys, our
Back to-
commander-in-chief was rushed to the hospital.
No, he wasn't.
Wait, who? What?
Trump has corona.
I know.
And he was just rushed to Walter Reed Hospital.
Oh, shit.
I'm not saying I'm
Yeah, okay,
planning,
so
but-
Shag, Marry, Kill.
Shag, Marry, Kill.
Oh,
Go ahead, Lily. Go first.
Oh, this is what we're doing. Oh, okay.
Olaf
Except
can go.
no, sorry. Except we're making it. It's. I don't want to talk about marriage because a lot of my friends are getting married in the next month or two, and too soon. Anyway,
You have friends? And they're getting married?
yes,
They're getting
I'm more,
married?
So many
I'm more
questions.
surprised about the marriage part than me having. Anyway, friends? Who do you want to be friends with? Who do you want to date? Who do you want to go away?
Okay. Olaf can definitely go away. Nathaniel can go away.
That's what I was going to say.
No.
Hey.
Pick one, Lily. One.
You stole mine.
Hold on.
And I was also actually going to say Nathaniel.
Same. Hey, you guys don't hate me
Olaf
after
can
all.
definitely go away.
Okay.
Who would I date? Some of her men are like short. Like Micah's
have to
like
be a man, just saying.
5'3". That's true too.
Yeah,
Actually,
uh-huh.
You like
Angel seems
Jean-Claude.
kind of fun.
I was about to say age. Okay.
I might
Sorry.
date Angel. She seems cool. Jean-Claude.
I'd want to be buddies with him.
Man.
I'd be buddies
Isn't
with
he
him.
like 5'11"?
He is 5'11", but Angel's also like
Listen, he can grow.
5'11".
I don't think that counts. You're
No,
dirty.
I'm saying, remember, like the powerful ones can use their power to
Yeah,
grow
I was
hair
thinking of
and
Nicolaos, but that's not what you meant. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Okay.
Fair, okay.
You know, I'd be friends with Jean-Claude. Because he seems like one of those friends.
Me
who buys
too.
Stuff.
Sorry, okay.
Oh, a friend
Okay.
who buys you stuff. I like a friend like
Yeah,
that.
and they buy exactly.
So I'd be friends with him. I might date Angel. She seems cool.
Okay,
Like,
stop
she
stealing
seems
mine,
fun.
Lily.
And
No,
Olaf
okay.
can go away.
Okay, now I have to pick different ones now.
I already know. Well, see, she kind of didn't include him anymore, so I can't say I want him to go away. But Richard, but she also.
I mean, listen, he might be back because he's still.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like, I think he probably got therapy. I hope so. This is hard. See, okay. As for who to date, I don't know because in terms of girls in this book, I remember so many guys, and then the one girl I remember is Anita. Like, okay, there's Claudia, and then
I don't think she's your type.
yeah. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm really bad at this one. Who do I want to be friends with? Edward.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. You guys are taking all of mine. All right, forget it. I'm going back. Friends with JC, Mr. Claude, Mr. Jean. Date. I want to say Angel, but I can't do that.
Do none of y'all want to date Anita?
No.
No.
I feel
I want to. No. Okay, I'd want to have sex with her, but not date her.
Oh, all right.
oh.
I mean, look at you objectifying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
damn,
sorry.
dude.
I'm sorry.
How do you
I'm
what
so
what?
proud of you.
I'm
I've
sorry.
never heard you objectify, which is great. Like in the grand scheme of things, like as a man, but that's
It's like, listen, it's like you see your birdie fly out first, and it flies the wrong
I
way,
didn't know
like
where
down
this
the
was
wrong,
going.
like it flies down the wrong lane, right? Like it's going against traffic, and you're just like, no, that's wrong. But like, I'm proud of you for flying, but that's the wrong way. You know, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, look. Anyway, never mind.
I feel like there'd be a lot of drama around her,
Yeah,
I think so too.
so
Yeah.
I'm good.
Same.
I don't know. Like she does not develop a lot of female characters.
That's why I had trouble figuring out who I'd
doesn't.
want to date.
What about Jason's
Oh, his
the-
dancer love?
yeah.
Oh God, I don't remember.
Janae.
Janae? Judith? No, that's the mother.
Josephine.
Joseph. Danielle?
Oh, now
I don't
we're
think
just
that-
switching letters.
Jennifer?
No.
Janice?
I think
Okay.
he had a bunch of Jennifers in high school. What do you guys remember his last name? Jason what?
No. See, this
Okay.
just shows.
Zulay, can you look up Jason from Anita and see if I'm sure he has a wiki page? Can you see if they tell you who his dancer love is?
Wow. I'm going to say.
I thought he said lasagna,
You said lasagna.
and then I heard the rest of the word.
Yeah.
There was a T at the end.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Angel.
I like Angel.
I'm gonna go
yeah.
JC. I'm gonna go
And who's going
Angel.
away?
Well, his name is Jason Schuyler, right? Is that
Oh, I
him?
did know that.
I
Okay,
did
so
not know
Skylar.
that.
Okay, now I'm gonna look up the dancer. So give me a second.
It'd say in his okay. I'm gonna say Nathaniel. Honestly,
He is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
He's kind
I
of
was gonna say
annoying.
him too.
he's been getting better, but not. But it's just like, come on, man.
I'm
And
surprised.
in this book in particular, when he was just like so annoying with the like, so I feel like so I see Anita like kind of being less annoying with the guys. Even she's now has like women and stuff like that. Like I feel like she is
Right.
also she's also kind of settling into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
She still got some of her hangups, but she it took her 27 books, 32 years, but she seems to finally be settling.
But my annoyance, I guess, is still just like Nathaniel's like, oh, but do this, do that. And I'm like, for a sub, you are very demanding, sir.
Yeah, he's a very pouty sub. Like, he's a very passive aggressive. Just I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason the reason why I don't say Olaf is because I want her to get rid of him herself.
I think that would be I liked how I liked when she and Claudia killed Cookie.
Yes. Haven.
So
Cookie.
I think that could be
Cookie Monster.
Don't you remember his hair?
I know, Cookie
blue,
Monster. I know.
And then
I know.
he had the tattoos of Bert and Ernie or somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah,
yes,
I
I
saw,
actually
but I'm
remember.
recording.
But yes, her showdown with Olaf, especially because it's been going on for 20 years, it better be more than just, oh, sorry, bye, boom.
Is the
in
girl
head.
JJ?
Yeah,
Yes.
JJ, there we go.
I think that
Shout
does
out to
stand for
Google.
Jennifer. It's Jennifer something because he had like 9 different Jennifers who were all like from his childhood days.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Okay.
Zulay, do
Anyway.
you have people from the cast that you were familiar with?
I don't know. No, I don't. I didn't meet most of the current existing cast. Like the only people. Okay, I'd be friends with Zabrowski, but I'd never get in his car.
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. That's
I like
awesome.
Zabrowski.
That's a good one.
Yeah, never do get. Always have him Uber you somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has a little bit of money. He can Uber me.
Or only get into Katie's car.
I'll get into Katie's car. That I would date. So please take in mind that I only read up to Killing Dance. Like I finished Killing Dance. So
You're gonna
I
say
would
Richard, aren't
definitely
you?
take Richard over Jean-Claude. I do
Oh.
not like Jean-Claude. However, everybody says that Richard turns into like a dick. So
He
I like
does. He does. He
I
does.
hesitate.
So you like what you read of him?
better than Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude annoyed me.
I feel like he's very, well, obviously he's very confident. He's very smug. I feel like he rubs people the wrong way.
Sounds like me.
You know? Versus Richard is very, I don't know. It's also been a while since I read Richard, which I'm not looking forward to, seeing as now I'm on 3. But anyway,
He hasn't
Richard.
shown up in a little while. Who would you have go away again from like the people you've read?
Anita.
No. Here's an awesome thought. Can you imagine the Anita series without Anita? Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
Probably
wild.
be a
Oh,
million
God.
times better.
Like, can you just imagine all the rest of the characters like trying to fill in, like trying to make the story happen? Just, you know.
Can you imagine being it from whose point of view? I don't know.
Nathaniel's point of view.
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, is
One of
Asher
the
still
cops,
around?
probably.
Oh my God! Let me tell you
Oh,
about that little
no.
goldfinch looking
No.
half face destroyed from holy water looking annoying ass vampire. So he gets an animal to call. He gets the hyenas. You remember Narcissus, the androgynous one? Oh, well, no, you never got up to that point. Okay, anyway. So Narcissus is this hyena.
I thought we were about to finish soon, and
Yeah, same.
No. It won't be too long. It won't be too long. I promise. Because I also have to go soon.
I also
So
do.
He
So
gets an animal to call, and it's a were hyena, but it's not Narcissus. And so this guy, Kane, he's got like all of this, like power, and he's like a rival to Narcissus, and Asher's always like jealous for like Jean-Claude's attention, and he's like, oh well, you know what, you won't have me in your bed, or you're changing all these things for Anita. Well, like Kane and I are just gonna take this bitch over, like we're gonna destroy everything, we're gonna take over the hyenas because they make up a large portion of like your guards, so we're just gonna start changing things, and it's just this whole big kerfuffle. Jean-Claude finally like sends him away and like makes it stick. I just wish they'd killed him, but whatever. I guess Jean has his attachments, so
yep.
Got it. All right. Well,
So
I'm just
we're
choosing
excited.
Zabrowski as my friend.
That's fair.
Okay.
Okay.
I respect that.
That's fair.
Oh, and Anita to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be kind of funny. All right, cool.
So-
Any closing thoughts on this 27 book, or if you
Yes.
count the novellas, 32 books?
I have one.
Yes.
All right, go for it.
Yes.
I don't know why y'all keep torturing yourselves with this. And by proxy, me. But
Listen, we can change it. We
Hey.
can change her.
I don't have to torture myself with it anymore
No,
because
Francesco,
I'm
no, you
caught
can't.
up, and all I have to do is, if I really want to, just read one book a year. I don't have to read multiple.
that is still
But
torture.
that's the problem. She's like, why are you reading them though?
Oh,
Listen, okay, we can stop anytime we want.
Yeah, we can stop. Yeah, we won't. But
So
anytime. No. No, we don't need to like prove it to ourselves because we know we can stop anytime.
yeah.
Got it.
I've proven it to myself for a few years, so I read it for the sake of the podcast.
You relapsed, so I don't
No,
know.
no, there's no reason because we can stop anytime we want. We just
Yeah.
choose not to.
Yeah.
Got it. So anytime you want, now I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. All right.
So I did like this book for the most part. Overall, I think I liked also
We
that
need
it was
help.
a change from a bloody like.
Well, I
You
did
know-
too, but
Yeah.
then the
I
ending.
wonder.
The
But I
ending-
wonder if this is a new trend, though. I wonder if this is like the new direction she's going. You know?
No,
less-
because I can't
finally
see
told
how
her to
she's
stop
not going
buying
to do.
reviews.
I can't see like in the next book she's going to have to go back to all
Why?
the other characters.
No, I know, but
I can't
I think
see
we
her.
mean in terms of like cases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like her,
Oh, maybe.
you know,
Like,
this
she
wasn't
could have
super
very-
bloody. This
if you remember, outside of the strip club, like they were like Nikki. Remember, like they were gonna like we need to do it. Like go in the van and get
and
one
have
done.
the sex, and
Yeah.
she was like, "No, we're not going
Right.
to have the sex." No.
So if she
Sorry, I
wanted
was tapping
to,
into her Mexican heritage there.
wow, that's a whole new. Wow.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Add that to the list of accents, I guess.
Anyway,
She's
yes.
not even Mexican. Anyway, sorry. But in that situation,
Francesco, yes, she is. Don't you remember in one of the first
okay,
four
okay.
books, she lets us know that her name is Anita.
you tire me. Yes, how it's supposed to be pronounced.
In the one with the zombie lady.
With
Who's pretending to be her mom.
Domingo Salvador.
Salvador.
Domingo
Yeah.
Salvador, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chuckles, you were saying.
Anyway,
In that scene with Nikki, like in the car, if she had wanted to, she could have very easily had put that into the story, but she chose not to. So I feel like there's hope that in future books there will be, if not zero, there will be less.
sex or more like.
Because again,
to
this book
point
had
sex
zero.
or- yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
didn't
did.
even
Zero.
just like their kink talk was
it did.
interrupted.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
did you say that the series started to go downhill?
Book 10.
Book 10.
After
Okay.
Obsidian Butterfly was the last. What was that? 9?
And then about book
Yes.
19 or
Yeah.
20, we start to kind of get back into cases. And then we sort of seem to flip flop between books. Like,
Yeah.
one book is all sex, the next book is all
yeah.
gore.
Yeah.
But the last few
Y'all
were
are in
I.
an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Listen, it's getting better, okay?
Yeah.
It's getting
It
better.
is, it is.
Yeah,
She just
she-
needed to like re-hit her stride, you know?
Yeah. She got it out of her system, and now it's better.
Definition of insanity, y'all.
Oh, something else that I really liked about this was that, normally every time she goes to a new town, everybody's always like, again, like I said, "Whore
Oh, she's
Babylon,"
always
and they're
having a
always-
pissing contest with the cops. Yes.
or they're always just like, like, what can this woman do? And she's marrying the vampires. She's marrying the bloodsuckers and all of these other men.
Right.
And now she's adding women too. She's a lesbian. And, in this one, it did come up, but it wasn't a central focal point, which I
Right.
thought was a lot more realistic because there are a lot of like people out there who are like assholes about polyamory, about homosexuality, about all of that stuff. But the interactions kind of like you could take out the names and just replace them with anyone and they'd basically be the same. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she copy and pasted it from each book. And so it was really nice to kind of not have that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
Cool. Any last
All
thoughts?
right. No, I think those are
We're
my
No,
thoughts.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, needless to say, I can't wait until book 29 or
Oh my
28.
gosh.
28.
She's not getting married till book 35, so it's fine.
I was gonna
Listen,
say
she
book
promised
30.
the next 3.
Let's say
She
book
also
30.
promised
Let's
that
say
she
book
was going
30.
to redeem Olaf, and here we are on the process to redeeming him.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe
Like,
not. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe she's gonna have like Anita like lull into a false sense of security, and she's like, "We can change him." And then he tries to kill her, and she's like, "He was a serial killer all along."
I
Yes,
think she is in a position now where there's no like inception point, right? Like it's like the steps in the direction of the two of them are so small and baby steps that like it's not this big thing that she can just like lay down and be like, no, this has gone far, you know? So I think it's going to continue taking little baby steps until something happens where it's like she's realized like, oh my God, this is it. And then she kills him. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
I really hope that's what happens.
Because like,
Anyway.
how was she going to like pull out? I mean, because first of all, she should have ended this a while ago. But because she didn't, what is she going to do? Like, during a conversation where he's being civil, just pull out a gun and shoot him? Like, that doesn't seem like what she
That would go
you
against
know?
what Anita would do. But hopefully, again, I really do hope that she does get to that point.
Oh, I hope so
Yes.
too. But I feel like if she hasn't ended it yet, she isn't going to until something
Something
happens
crazy
where it crosses
happens.
the line.
Yeah.
But this is what
And
I mean,
she-
though. I hope she makes something crazy happen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right.
So we'll see.
Anyway, yeah.
We will
We
see.
will see what happens.
This was a very interesting episode.
Yes.
I think it's always interesting when we're all
Podcast.
together.
it is. It is.
We need to do like a holiday special.
So what's the next book, yo?
I have no idea.
Well,
know.
actually, I was going to discuss this with Chesco, but I want to try to do like since I'm reading I guess I'll go back to it. Wuthering Heights. We'll see.
Ooh,
We'll see.
That might be something. Let's connect.
Yeah.
on, like,
That
an
would be
old-
something.
one of that genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, have us be your recurring guest for the books.
No, I know we will. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's too cool to get excited.
Yeah, I'm too cool. Yeah, I'm gonna start asking for payment now.
Don't you need to pay us for coming on your podcast?
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. I meant you guys are gonna
Yeah.
start asking for payment. Anyway.
Anyway.
This
We'll
has
be
been
back
awesome.
potentially with Wuthering Heights. Okay, bye.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome episode. What number is this, Simon?
21.
21. This has gone on long enough. The travesty has to end, and it will end now. Follow us on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Run with Chestnut. Hit us up with your future episode requests, or if you have a book that you'd like us to cover. Notice my voice got really high there because I want your guys' input.
Yep.
You guys want to share your socials or something?
You can find me on Twitter at Lily Mordaunt. That is LILYMORDAUNT. And on
Lily.
YouTube at the same name.
Come on, sis. You know the drill. I always forget.
You can find Zulay at Su Corazón de Cielo. That is spelled at SURAL.
No, No.
Really?
no. It's a Z. Okay, I got it. You
Oh,
can find me.
SUCU. Oh, okay.
Yes. You can
Darn.
find
I had
me
it right last time.
at Sucursal del Cen- Oh, give me a second. Mami, estoy grabando algo. Espera un momentico. Sorry, guys.
No.
You can find me at. You can find me at. Mami, ciérrame la puerta. You can
That's not
find
where
me
you can find her.
at Sucursal.
Find her at the door. Everyone's door.
You can find me at Sucursal del Cielo on Twitter. That's at SUCURZALDECIELO. On Twitter.
I noticed that stumble over there.
Yeah. I was, listen.
Lily,
leave me
lay off
alone.
her. It's a long
Yes,
name.
It's a long name.
Yeah.
On Twitter, that's what I'm primarily on. And yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
I hope to have you guys back very soon, potentially talking about a book related to Wuthering Heights or something along that line.
Yeah.
You know, the genre, that genre. Anyway,
A nice
before I
classic.
put my foot in my
Deeper
mouth.
classic.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, a classic. Perfect. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.